All this fake compassion and all of this fake outrage is starting to feel like a stake driven into my ear. I've had enough. I've had enough. In this age, people do not have values. They have enemies and they have allies. That is all. After being processed in the United States judiciary system for 6 years, Kilmar Garcia has been deported to his native land of El Salvador. The left, of course, is outraged, and they are screaming from the rooftops one phrase over and over again: due process. Alright then, let's talk due process. Let's compare and contrast how much due process Kilmar Garcia received versus what a legal migrant might receive in this country. And let's see who is treated more fairly. Let's go like, subscribe.
Bear witness to the fall of civilization, Neo-Barbarian!
Is Kilmar Garcia an innocent Maryland father? Or is he a human trafficking, wife-beating MS-13 gang member? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but no one really cares. And those facts don't even really matter for my purposes today. We are going to talk about due process. Kilmar Garcia was arrested by ICE 6 years ago, and in April 2019, a judge presided over Garcia's bond hearing, denying him bail based on allegations of MS-13 membership. Later in October 2019, a judge granted Garcia a withholding of his removal, and the justification that the judge gave had to do with gang threats in his native country, which also implies that he was associated with MS-13, does it not? But that's neither here nor there. 5 years later, the gangs of El Salvador have been completely decimated by the new government there, eliminating any need for protection from them. In fact, it is a lot safer in El Salvador these days than it is on our own streets. So Mr. Garcia was put on a plane, and that plane went all the way to El Salvador, his native country, and dropped him off there, despite a judge having said that he should not be deported specifically to El Salvador. Not that he should not be deported, but that he could not be retorted back to El Salvador. 5 years previously, a district judge then ordered Donald Trump to return Mr. Garcia back to the United States, which should be illegal since Mr. Garcia is not a citizen of the United States. But now, Mr. Garcia is in his home country, where Donald Trump is not the president, and the American judicial system has zero authority. So the Supreme Court has ruled that this district judge should now clarify how the president exactly is supposed to return Mr. Garcia, which of course is not possible according to our legal system, because our legal system does not encapsulate the nation of El Salvador. I have never had an interaction with Kilmar Garcia. I have no opinion on the person as an individual. However, Mr. Garcia had all the due processing necessary to show that he has no right to reside in the United States. The primary function of a government and the means by which it maintains its right to rule is its ability to maintain and protect a border, thereby solidifying its sovereignty as a state. In any state in this world, the border is protected by a martial force that answers to the executive of that state in question, therefore legitimizing that state. Borders cannot be protected by judges, and a judge has no authority outside of the laws that have been handed to them by their state or their people. And even then, their only right is to interpret. Judges are not appointed by God, and district judges cannot dictate foreign policy. This is how a state functions. The people of the Republic of the United States were not consulted when the 10+ millions of immigrants were intentionally let over against the laws of the land. This act in its own delegitimizes the right to rule of the federal government, and judges continuously judging to allow this to continue are also eroding their own legitimacy as an institution, because their power as an institution lies on people's trust in a the law of the land, not the law of the judge or the law of the world. A judicial system that does not judge on behalf of its people or on behalf of the government that gives it power and backs up its rulings with martial force. It has no authority anymore. It is in fact hubris that will bring down all of these institutions. Kilmar Garcia is currently residing in the nation where he is a citizen. Perhaps sending him there was not legally correct. Perhaps it was not even correct at all. But judges in the United States and Americans in general need to remember that America's laws are for America, not El Salvador. The United States government has no legal jurisdiction in foreign countries. Oh, well, you could bring it back if you really wanted to. You're the president of the United States. Yes, he could. But how can you legally require someone to do something when they have no legal authority to do it? But none of this actually bothers me at all. What bothers me is that people care about this and not about anything else. People are pretending like they care about Mr. Garcia when they don't even care about their neighbors. Hey, let's talk about the due process that we give people who work their tails off for years to try and get legal status in the United States legally. Let's talk about what they have to go through and how much due process they get before they can be thrown out of the country. If you care about fairness, then you should care about some of these stories. Today I heard a story about a married couple who are living here on a valid visa. The woman calls the police because the man is being abusive, and when the police come, they process both of them. And just because the woman was fingerprinted, both of them lost their visas and are being deported from the United States. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. These are the laws in the books. If you're on a legal visa, you don't have to be convicted of a crime. You don't even need to be accused of a crime. All you need is an arrest, and you can be deported. Another young lady was staying in a house with a bunch of other people, and these people had a big party, and things went sideways, and she was minding her own business. But the cops came and arrested everybody. She was fine, they let her go home. But because she was fingerprinted, her name enters the system, and there goes your visa. A very common story that many of us can relate to. I think everyone knows someone that has had this happen to them. The credit card transaction declined when someone's insurance was being renewed. Therefore, they were driving without insurance and without knowledge of this. Well, guess what happens? The police scan your license plate, they see you're driving without insurance, and they pull you over, and guess what? You can lose your visa. This situation with Mr. Garcia pales in comparison to the injustices that happen to everyday Americans every single day. And some of this injustice is due to the government and the judicial system's selective enforcement of laws. And now what we see is selective outrage. Selective outrage is not genuine outrage. It is a tactical move. I wish that we lived in a country where people care about people, but we don't. People have allies and they have enemies, and people care about how people treat them, and that's it. If you're here on an F1 visa and you are unable to maintain a certain class load, oh, visa gone. If you're here on an H-1B visa and you lose your job of no fault of your own, visa gone. If you come over the border illegally and you commit crimes for years and you cost the taxpayer thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, you will be protected. It's starting to seem like some people have a vested interest in this system collapsing. But I'm here for it. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
I got some